although they could see the times were changing and that the earth was going to be going through a tumultuous time, as this young man that had just been born was going to be creating belief systems that changed and caught people in conflict and was going to create wars, he knew that it was for a much higher purpose, and they had to trust in that. And that was why they were wise, because they could see this. This is why they didn't tell Herod that he was there, because they knew that this had to be. And as tough as it was going to be, to see the world divided and partitioned in different belief systems at odds with each other, there was a much, much higher purpose that they had to hold that vision for. And that was because they followed divine guidance to get there, and they had trust. So I would ask you to look at things that are happening in your life right now that seem like they're not going along the way that you want them. Having any temper tantrums recently? Things like you're just thinking, I don't like this, this isn't what I want, this isn't going my way, I want it different, I want it different, I want it different. Sound familiar to anybody? I know, not just me. If we could look at ourselves sometimes, when we sit in spaces and say, I don't like this, this isn't what I want. We've got to trust in something that out there is better for us. And we have only to ask for what we really want to be revealed to us, so we can let go of what we think that we want. And then we know we live in a universe that, of course, in every way, puts our divine happiness at the highest and best of everything. At the end of the day, don't we want a unity of everything in the galaxy? And I'm not trying to have an ET conversation here, but there are 400 billion planets out there in the galaxy. There must be life out there. And so when we ask for peace on Earth, let's just go ahead and ask for peace in the entire Milky Way. All energy of creation. Don't we want peace at the highest, most expansive level for the good of everybody, every single life form? Doesn't that ultimately serve all of us in the end? And that might look like you don't get that new car next week because maybe you're supposed to use that money to do something else that has a higher divine purpose. And so we have to start manifesting for the good of the collective, not just our own individually. When we have love for ourselves, and then that love spills over to everybody else, and we start manifesting for the good of everybody, not just for ourselves. Of course, the universe wants us to be happy. When we get into sympathy for ourselves, we create reflective misery. Everyone know the difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion? They all kind of sound the same, don't they? Sympathy is somebody's drowning in a swimming pool because they can't swim. Sympathy comes along, sees them drowning, and jumps in there with them. Says, oh my gosh, we're drowning together, this feels terrible. It commiserates with them. Does sympathy help them get out? Does it help them feel better? Does it help them feel less scared? Does it manifest anything positive? No. Empathy comes along and stands by the edge of the pool and says, oh my gosh, look how bad that person feels. I feel for them. Oh, I can only imagine how bad they feel. And they're so empathetic. Empath. That's what empaths do. They feel other people's pain. Is empathy feeling bad themselves? A little bit. Not as bad as sympathy. But are they helping the person out of the swimming pool? No. Compassion comes along and says, that must be really scary. Hold my hand. Come over to the edge of the pool and hold my hand and let me pull you out. Compassion stays clear of mind. Doesn't engage in the same feelings of fear because that would bring them down and leave them and a non-capacity to help. Compassion says, you must be really scared. But I'm going to stay centered and grounded in my own clear thinking, and I'm not going to engage in that fear because I need to be clear of mind to help you get up and out of this living. So compassion has wisdom. Compassion understands the fear, but doesn't lower its vibrations down. And so when we engage in sympathy and empathy, we're no longer centered, no longer at a higher vibration. We've allowed our vibration to go down to that person. Stay centered, stay clear, and avoid sympathy. It just brings you down. We went to lunch last weekend. We always, not always, but on most Sundays, we meet my father for lunch after Sunday services. We went to Mother's last Sunday, and it was the day before New Year's Eve. And he comes in, and he's coughing and hacking and sneezing and lamenting over 100 different symptoms that he's got that he's not feeling well about. And I'm thinking to myself, oh great, why didn't you just tell me you couldn't make it today? And on New Year's Day, all of a sudden, I felt all of these symptoms coming in. I went, oh my goodness, I've caught my dad's bug. Why on earth did he come? He should have just... And I heard myself getting annoyed that he had come and hadn't stayed home. And I went, wait a minute. If my vibrations have shifted from a higher place to a lower place, that is what has weakened my body and allowed this bug to come into my system. And so I went to bed early and I meditated and I looked at all of the negative feelings I was going on in my system, and I prayed for them to come back up and no longer create a lower vibrational environment where this illness was able to penetrate my physical body. And the next morning I woke up and I was fine. Okay? Be aware. Be aware of where you are vibrationally. I can always tell when myself or somebody else has been around somebody else who's got a lower vibration, their behavior starts shifting. And they start saying things that are out of character. And it's sometimes difficult to hold space for them and to just send them love when they're feeling that way. Because if there's one little iota of a seed that's in us that's feeling a little bit negative, and somebody else comes along, it's so easy to slip into that vibrational, and it happens without us even realizing it. Until all of a sudden things start coming out of our mouth, and it's almost like you're in this phone booth going, who is this talking? It's not me, this isn't who I am. I don't feel this way, I don't think this way. Why is that coming out of my mouth? When you hear yourself realizing that, don't punish yourself and say, oh, I shouldn't have said that, I'm so mean. Just, whoa, I got caught in a lower vibration. Let me raise myself back up. And let me learn what that felt like to slip into that. And celebrate that you realized it. And that you course corrected. And that you got back on track. Celebrate the awareness and the knowledge and the wisdom, rather than punishing yourself for letting it happen in the first place. That's the journey to living a life free of judgment. Because isn't the wisdom a better chance of happiness than the self-judgment? Because then you see it coming. Knowledge and wisdom and awareness are our greatest tools for happiness. So as we meditate now, we'll do another brief meditation. And I want you to ask for any source that you pray to, any source that you invite into your system, to reveal to you right now if there is something that appears like lack in your life, that appears like you're not getting something that you're manifesting. And ask that source to show to you the big picture so that you can see that you are indeed having your dreams fully manifest in front of you, and change your perspective. So just breathe and relax. Calling in your guides, your guardian angels, any ascended masters or archangels that you pray to. Ask for the truth to be shown to you. In whatever situation it is that you're looking at right now that is giving you unhappiness, despair, confusion, frustration, anything that looks like grief to you in any way. Asking for clarity, saying to yourself, I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing to see this from a new perspective. I'm willing to know information that I previously was not open to. I'm willing to accept things as they are, understanding there's a much higher purpose to them. I'm willing to open my heart and love the situation, understanding its higher purpose. I'm willing to understand whatever is happening is far more about me. It is also about many, many other people. I'm willing to trust that things are manifest for the good of all, and that ultimately this will serve my own happiness. I'm willing to breathe in divine truth and take it into my soul. I'm willing to know my higher purpose and those around me of their higher purpose. I'm willing to understand the soul agreements that we may have together and what it is that we are supposed to learn as we take this journey together. I'm willing to know that even those that appear as foe may be friend. To understand that some of the best teachers may look like negative role models as compared to positive role models. I'm willing to know those that antagonize me the most may indeed be my greatest teachers. I'm willing to see support and friendship where I may not have recognized it before. I'm willing to trust in the divine plan of the universe that all is well, and that everything is manifest and created for the highest and best good of all concerned. I'm willing to play my part in this manifest, wholly and completely, the divine love of self and of the universal energies that are present in my daily life. I'm willing to see, hear, know, and feel universal truth at the highest level of divine knowledge. I know I'm worthy of seeing this, despite any mistakes that I think I may have made. I now understand all life is an experience, and as I have experiences, my self-worth and my my self-esteem grow with each step. I am worthy of divine guidance and wisdom. As I am a creation of the divine, I cannot be anything other than truly worthy of guidance and love and a gift. I take this into my heart and my soul and my mind and my body with every breath I take. Holding this energy as long as you like. I do apologize for how cold it is in here. We need to get a better heating system. It's been a particularly cold winter. We'll get it fixed up on us.
Maybe we could just bring the heaters closer to us.
I thought about that, but unfortunately they're plugged into the wall.
That'll do it. No extension.
They're 15 amps of electricity, and they're not supposed to have extension cords on them, but we'll figure something out. We may bring some different ones in the center. JC's got some great ideas on some infrared heating for the room.
Those heating lamps are really great too, you know? The indoor-outdoor ones.
Yeah. That's probably not a bad idea.
That's
I can get them from Home Depot, huh?
Casa had it on sale.
Yeah. Costco does? Yeah, we need to do something. It's a little bracing in here, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to share something too, that when you were talking, you know, I said I don't want to bring the the prayer Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu actually says that. Like, and it's very, very ancient. And they
Yes.
say every being,
All
everywhere,
beings, all
in
beings.
all universes. It's really what it means. So,
Yes. Yeah, some people just aren't comfortable with, that concept, but we're just talking about things. We are 400 billion planets in the Milky Way. We don't know what life is out there. There's something out there, and so when we say our prayer, we're saying it for all life, everywhere, all time, all space, all dimensions, all paradigms, all vibrations, in all time. That is the most heartfelt, genuine prayer that we can make. It is absolutely inclusive of everything. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, absolutely. Did anybody have anything that they would like to share or have a question about with their experience?
I'm just happy to be back.
Well, we're happy to have you back. Thank you. Thank you. Each week we look at the interfaith calendar and see what's going on. And we've had in the past, we've shared Hanukkah and the birthday of Baha'i and the Indian Deepavali and many different things. Because anytime somebody celebrates something spiritual, when they celebrate life, it's a time for us all to say, if somebody's celebrating something somewhere, let's join in with them. And the Dalai Lama says, if you want happiness in life, more happiness in life, be happy for other people. Because we don't always have as many things in our life that we can be happy for, but if we're happy for other people, then we've got millions of things that we can be happy for. And he says his religion is love and happiness. We've talked about him once before. We'll have a day for the Dalai Lama when it's his birthday. We'll celebrate him as well. And I have these wonderful new cards that these are made by Abraham, Esther and Jerry Hicks. And it's the health and the law of attraction. And as I was meditating this morning before I came in, I asked for a card to pull that would be relevant for today. And the card that I got was, my sympathy is of no value to anyone. And that was why we talked about sympathy, empathy, and compassion. If you do not focus upon others' problems, you can continue to feel good. But they will still have the problem. This is true at first, but if you focus on their problems, you feel bad. They continue to feel bad, and then you still have the problem, and they still have the problem, and everybody feels bad. And if you continue to focus on their problem, you will have that problem too, in time, because of the law of attraction. Instead, if you try to imagine their positive outcome, you feel good, and there is then the possibility of your influencing them to more positive thoughts and outcomes. So visualize them getting out of the swimming pool. Visualize you putting your hand there and saying, I'm staying out, I'm not drowning, and I am really here to help you get out as well. Sympathy jumps in with them, and then you're both drowning. I know we've been trained by our religions, our families, our schools, our friends, teachers, co-workers, to feel sorry for someone, to look at them and see their situation and go, oh. But we don't help them fix the problem, because as we imagine, as we get into sympathy, we're actually then imagining what's going on. Imagination is creation. Remember the formula. Imagination plus intention equals creation. And so if you start imagining somebody else's problem, and if you feel guilty for any reason whatsoever, that's going to start coming in as intention. And then you will create that same problem for yourself, possibly, but even more so for them. Do not feel sorry for anybody. You will only then bring sorrow into your life and more into theirs. Feel joy for them. Feel hope. Feel inspiration. Feel camaraderie and positive, and say, you can do it, you can fix this. people come to see me for individual counseling sessions, it's all, and what are we going to do about this? How are we going to fix this? How are we going to change this? What can we create? What can we do? Yes, I know it feels bad, but what can we do to start changing this? I don't sympathize with anybody. I wouldn't do that to you. I make you pull up yourself by your bootstraps and say, let's get this figured out. Let's get this created. Let's tune into the highest vibration of what it is that you are all about. And let's find out how to make a positive contribution. Because we contribute every day. And when we're complaining about a situation with somebody around us, one of the first questions that we can ask ourselves is, what is my contribution to this? Because there's always a contribution. Then you can ask yourself, am I contributing in a positive way or in a negative way? And then redirect. Redirect, course correct, redirect. Our whole life is nothing but a series of course corrections and redirection. Don't like where you're going? Course correct. That doesn't look right either? Course correct. You'll eventually get there. Some people make some huge detours. Others are a little bit more direct, but we'll all eventually get there if we just keep course correcting. Do you guys want to do some cards today, or are we good?
Happy?
Pass those. Seth will pass them out. If you want them to be interpreted for you, you actually, I'm hearing to do the law of attraction cards since I brought those in. I guess it's a law of attraction day. I guess you can fan them out, or you can put them on a plate. Take the card and...
Ailments, yeah.
Okay.
And I've been preoccupied with them.
Okay.
And this is what I need to do, yeah. So I know that.
Cool. So change the story, and if the ailments persist, sometimes it's hard to say the ailments don't exist. I'm perfectly healthy, because your ego comes in and says, well, no, you're not, I have them. Change it to, I'm getting better. They're going away. I'm getting stronger every day. I'm getting healthier every day. Change your inner story to something progressive.
The mind is so powerful.
Does anybody else want to share? Or you can keep them completely private and then just take what away from me if you want. But
2 factors.
what does it say?
Oh, it says, when I want it and allow it, I create it.
What I want and
When I want it and allow it, I create it.
when I want it and allow it, I create it. Allowing is a phrase that is unfamiliar to a lot of us. The idea of allowing means letting it come in without looking at it, scrutinizing it, wondering where and when and how and if, but just it's a derivation of trust. It's like opening the door, allowing somebody to walk by, completely trusting that your turn to go in the door will come. So it's a level of trust. It's about trusting and receiving. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And does the card resonate with you?
Yeah.
JC, what you got?
Instead of problem-oriented stories, I will tell solution-oriented stories.
Oh, you gotta love that card. I was just thinking about that on the way in. Because I had somebody yesterday that was describing problems to me instead of describing solutions, and I was saying, well, there's a solution to that, we just have to think of it. But this person was saying, but there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. Because our inner dialogue, when we're describing problems, we simply recreate the same problems. We don't always know what the solutions are, and that's where the most powerful phrase that I learned in my manifestation process of I'm willing to see things differently allowed me to say, okay, there's a solution to this. I don't know what it is, or how, or when, but I know there's a solution. Changing that inner dialogue then allows the solutions to be shown to me. While I don't see solutions, Spirit can't show them to me. So whatever's going on with you, I think this is a thing we talked about yesterday, start seeing solutions to it. That makes
Yeah.
sense?
Mine's kind of similar to that in the sense that it says the law of attraction responds to thoughts, not realities.
That's right. These thoughts become realities.
So see it differently than what you're seeing
Yeah.
now.
If anybody in here thinks that there is such a thing as a harmless negative thought, please redirect your thinking. There is no such thing. That is how Divine Spirit manifests. It can only go with our thoughts. And that's how sometimes we create the things that we don't want. One of the most similar, I always use this expression, I manifest what I want, not what I don't want. So yeah, we have to govern our thoughts. Have you been thinking things recently that maybe weren't in perfect alignment with what you truly want?
No, I just have a situation where something is happening that I'm looking at it like, I was just briefly looking at it like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, what's happening? How come this is happening? And then going to, well, there must be a reason, and I need to trust that there's a higher purpose for this. And then this card is just showing me like actually focusing on the good part of it and what can, just creating it good. And I already have been doing that, so just a confirmation of that.
Good, that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She just said it's a confirmation. Where I got it, basically a confirmation of